Hello. Today's stories come from r/Am I the Butthole? We've got 5 stories today. First up, am I the butthole for proving a point to my friend and making her pay up on her bet? All right, this is so stupid, but it has turned into a problem for our friend group. So I, 26-year-old male, am single, and so is a lot of my friend group. We tend to talk about our relationships pretty openly as we are a tight group. So me and my friend Jenny, 27-year-old female, tend to always take the opposite point of view on things. I lean conservative, and she is very much left leaning. She's a feminist and is very vocal about social issues. We always keep things civil and friendly. We are good friends, but kind of rivals, if that makes sense. The friend group loves to get the two of us going. So recently, I was dating a girl casually. After a few dates, she said she wasn't feeling a spark, but really wanted to stay friends. I told her that she was a very nice person, but I didn't see us being friends. The girl and Jenny know each other, so I think Jenny found out about it. So Jenny asked in front of the friend group why I didn't want to stay friends with said girl. I said I just didn't really view her as a friend. This started a whole debate on whether guys and girls can be friends. I said that yes, they could be, but not if the original goal was a romantic one. She said that I was wrong, and she had plenty of guy friends who were once potential relationships. I said BS, that those guys are on her roster waiting on a chance. She said I was wrong and started calling me a douche. I said it's simple facts that unless they were always just friends, those guys would jump at the chance to have sex with her if given the chance. We were pre gaming to go out, so our whole friend group debated this over an hour. Jenny kept getting pissed at me individually, though, saying how insulting it is to imply guys are only her friend to get in our pants. I said maybe not every guy, but a majority of those dudes on her roster are waiting for a call up. She said, "Wanna bet?" I said, "Sure, let's do it." I said, "Text 3 of your closest guy friends that you are lonely and want to hook up. I'll bet 2 of the 3 will show up within 30 minutes." She laughed and said, "How much? This is easy money." We agreed on $100, and the friend group got super invested in this bet. Well, she sent out the text, and all 3 dudes started texting her asking when she wanted them to come over. She got all upset and went to the bathroom. I read the room and didn't make fun of her once she came back, but I told her she needed to pay up. She told me she wasn't paying because it was a stupid bet that proved nothing. I said that I would have paid if I was wrong, so she needed to pay up on her bet. The guys all agree she made the bet and needs to pay up. The girls are saying I'm being a butthole about it. I think it's all fair because she took the bet confident she would win. And I'm sure if I was wrong and didn't want to pay, I'd be getting roasted for it. Am I the butthole? Ooh, I don't know here. I'm so torn. Age old question, can men and women be just friends? I think she's a little more butthole than OP, but he's not blame free either. I'm not sure they're really friends. Sounds more like they suffer each other's company for the sake of the friend group, to be honest. Here's what the comments thought. Chill Stoner 0604 said, "Everyone sucks here. You for the whole can't be friends with an ex BS. Also for encouraging her to use her friend's emotions for a bet. She sucks for taking the bet in the first place. Honestly, both of you seem exhausting." Kodak 1999 said, "I completely agree, but I would add that she also shouldn't have brought up a detail of OP's relationship that she found out from someone else in front of the whole group. The situation is quite messed up." Nicknaz16 said, "I was really waiting for someone to say this. I also think that OP is completely justified in not wanting to be friends with that girl. As much as we as women complain about men screw zoning us and men complain about women friend zoning them, why are so many people getting so mad at OP for being clear about his intentions and not being one of those crappy guys that pretends to be friends so they might have a chance someday? I really don't understand." Next up, am I the butthole for ordering sushi to make a point? I'm a 40-year-old female and my partner is a 40-year-old male. He does most of the cooking. I do other tasks around the house like cleaning the bathrooms and fixing stuff. We do not always eat together or the same meal because we work different hours and we enjoy the freedom of eating what we want. So sometimes he'll make cauliflower for one, his fave, but I'm not a fan, and I'll make a salad. Tonight he wanted to make mac and cheese for the both of us. Then we have this text combo. I say, "Yum, we're out of cheese. Can you get some on your way home?" He says, "We still have cheese in the fridge." I'm like, "Nope, I checked and we're out." He's all like, "Are you sure?" ETA, I was working from home, which he knew, and physically checking the fridge. I wasn't just guessing that we were out, hence saying, I checked. He does this all the time. He's not a mansplainer, but he is very insecure, I guess, and he's 100% a man questioner. I dislike it because one, please just believe what I tell you. And two, all these questions are making me double guess myself. I've straight up told him that, we had this discussion many times. Edit. All of you saying I should just use my words to communicate my dislike at the repeated questioning. Please practice your reading comprehension on the preceding sentence. Consider that my blanket reply to, but did you talk to him about it? Comments. This time, rather than assure him, yes, I'm sure, I just stop replying. If he thinks we have some imaginary cheese left over in the fridge, fine, he can use that for the mac and cheese. Meanwhile, I know we're out of cheese, so, and here's where I may have been the butthole, I place an order for sushi. For one. Partner gets home, checks the fridge. Surprise, we're out of cheese. He proposes to make noodles instead, and I tell him to go ahead and cook for one because I'll eat something else. He makes the noodles, sits down to eat, and the delivery guy shows up with my sushi. Partner gets angry. Well, more annoyed than angry because, one, he likes sushi too. That's not the reason I picked sushi. I would have gotten Chinese if I just wanted to eat his all time fave meal alone. But it is usually something we order together. Two, delivery times in our city are ridiculously long, so he knows I placed that order well before he came home and made noodles. Am I the butthole? I could have ordered sushi for two, and my partner would still have gotten the message about the incessant, are you sure? And enjoyed the sushi with me. Okay, well, I won't go into why I think he's, of course, the butthole, because it's covered in the comments. I do have to make an argument here for the husband, though. I'm a sucker for tuna belly because I'd be irrationally angry if you made me miss out on sushi. I better have done something awful and not just asked about some cheese. Exact roll 4048 said, petty, yes. Butthole, no. Not the butthole. If he would have listened to you, you both would have had mac and cheese. Mr. Natural 18 said, and funny too. Hilarious. Do you think that he'll learn to trust you when you say that you checked and there is no cheese in the refrigerator? OP. Honestly, I don't know if he learned to trust me, but it's okay. I got it out of my system. Next time, I'll just take a deep breath and order sushi for two. Or Chinese. Abundance Nation said, the main thing that makes you not the butthole is the fact that he still came home without cheese. What the frack? So I don't think you were the butthole at all. You obviously know your husband very well and planned ahead. Testy Texan 251 agreed. That's what I got out of this too. She told him they were out of cheese and he didn't believe her enough to pick some up on the way home. Not the butthole, but only because he came home without the cheese. If he had come home with it, you would have been sharing that sushi as an appetizer. OP. Oh, yeah. Had he come home with cheese, I would have shared the sushi, because then I would have been the one in the wrong. Our third story is a spicy one. I have found out that my husband has tampered with my birth control pills, and my mom knew about it. I don't know how to start, but when I, 38-year-old female, started dating my now husband, a male, 34, about 7 years ago, I was very clear about me being child free. He didn't mind that, and 2 years later, we got married. About a year later, I found out that I was over 20 weeks pregnant. The reason I didn't realize it earlier was because I haven't had periods since my early 20s and I didn't suffer any significant morning sickness and the weight gain I could explain away. I had started a new hectic job and didn't have much time to work out or eat right. Anyway, when I found out, I just accepted my fate, and when my baby was born, she changed my whole life. I have never felt so much love, and I was so grateful for this accident. Now I'm a mother of three. My daughter is 3, and I have twin boys that'll be a year old in May. I also have 5 foster kids, ages 2 to 6. I have now found out that my first pregnancy wasn't an accident at all. I have had my suspicions about my husband being controlling, and we have been fighting a lot recently about me going back to work after my maternity leave. He wants me to stay at home and have more children. His argument is that I didn't want children in the first place, but still was so happy when I became a mom. So it will be the same with future children. When I told him that instead I wanted an IUD, he was livid. That made me suspicious because I'm already on the pill. So why is he so mad about an IUD? I asked him if he had anything to do with my accidental pregnancy with our daughter, and he just bluntly admitted it. Not even that, he also admitted that it was my mom's idea because I didn't know what's best for me. I was shocked. I have already gone low contact with my parents because they always take my husband's side. But this blow was worse. I called my mom out, to my dad's horror, who didn't know about this scheme. My dad left my mom that night, and he's now contemplating divorce. My mom is livid with me because not only I'm ruining my marriage, I've ruined her 45-year-long happy marriage. My anger has now subsided and is replaced with depression and despair. I think I hate my mom, and that pains me. I feel so guilty for ruining my mom and dad's marriage. They've always been my role model for true love and respect for each other. I wish this hurt would go away. I know that everything turned out to be for the better for me. I love my children very much, and I'm so happy I was proven wrong to think I didn't want to be a mom. So, why am I still so hurt and disgusted? I see my daughter's face and I'm filled with gratitude for what happened, and yet with as much disgust towards my husband and mom. Am I going mad? Whoa, I don't even know where to start. The mom? That's a bridge too far. And the husband for going along with it? Maybe that can be forgiven eventually, maybe, if his current attitude was different. There's no need to speculate, though, because OP has some updates in the comments. Dulu Almighty said, just as you and your husband have kept secrets of your marriage from your kids, I'm sure your parents have done the same with you. Chances are, their marriage wasn't as perfect as you were led to believe. Please don't blame yourself for your parents splitting. This is your mom's fault, not yours. Skeeterbag83 said, if I were you, I'd be changing the locks and filing for divorce. What they did is disgusting and horrifying. I would even go so far as to speak to the police and see if you can press charges. Keep any and all records that he possibly can, because this is going to turn into a very ugly custody battle. Good luck. OP replied, I have already filed for divorce. The thing is, he can contest it and drag the process for 2 years. OP's final comment, and perhaps the saddest. My mom said she did it to help me because he was going to leave me if I didn't cave. Our fourth story is, am I the butthole for telling my fiance to get over himself? I'm engaged to my fiance, Sam. He's 41, and we're getting married soon. I will say that he was married before and had a 13-year-old son who passed away 4 years ago. Let me tell you, he is still pretty much grieving. Not judging him for that, but his grieving can and will cloud his thinking sometimes. We're currently in the wedding planning phase. He asked that we reserve a chair at the venue for his deceased son. I was dumbfounded when I heard this, but he said that he knows his son will be there for him spiritually, and he'd like to reserve a seat for him out of respect and to make him feel included. I tried to be gentle because this seemed insane and told him we can't do that because guests will be asking questions and will think he's mentally unstable. I asked him to let go of this idea, but he offered a compromise by leaving the last chair in the very back empty so no one will notice. I felt uneasy and asked him to just let it go, but he kept bringing it up and saying he gets a say since it's his wedding, and his son was and will always be family. I had a fight with him telling him it's my wedding too, and I don't want people to laugh at us. He said I have nothing to lose if I say yes and that I'm being selfish. I snapped and told him to get over himself, and he got quiet suddenly and stopped arguing, then shut down completely. I then heard him sob while he was smoking outside and refused to speak to me. Didn't even let me sit with him. He's been like this ever since the fight and has been avoiding me. I could have blown this out of proportion, but I thought his request will weird out many guests and make our wedding a laughingstock. Editing to add that I didn't think that such thing was common. I admit that I should have handled the conversation better, but the guests I was referring to are my male cousin. They're terrible and make fun of everything and take every opportunity to turn an event into a laughingstock. I can't keep them from attending because they're family, but at the same time, I don't want to give them a chance to hurt Sam's feelings or make rude comments. I love Sam and sympathize with his struggle, but I feel like he's being dismissive of my feelings and thoughts. Yep, butthole, next. Just kidding. But I've never seen a more butthole. I don't care if it's been 4 years. He can have an empty chair at the back of a room for the rest of his life if he so wants, and I'd still take his side on this one. It's such a small request that takes nothing and harms no one. There were some funny comments setting OP straight. Thank goodness. Happy Banana 134 said, "You're the butthole. A wedding is about both of you. He offered a compromise. You're putting your foot down. Why? What he wants is harmless and also really sweet. Guests will be asking questions and will think he's mentally unstable. I don't want people to laugh at us. So don't invite buttholes to your wedding." I'm sorry, but given how callous you're being, I'd be surprised if there even is a wedding now. In response to, "So don't invite buttholes to your wedding," Arcsodium said, "Unfortunately, one of them is the bride." Agreeable Asparagus said, "You're the butthole, unequivocally. A huge, gaping one. He lost his child. You don't get over that. You made him sob over a chair. Think about that for a minute. The way you're approaching this is disgusting. You're the one that needs to get over yourself. If I were him, I would be calling the whole wedding off. The disrespect is unreal." Jeza XC said, "Even worse, she is concerned that her cousins will be awful about it. Here's an idea. Don't invite buttholes to your wedding if they're going to disrespect something your spouse finds important." And now for our final and most controversial story. Am I the butthole for not giving my brother in law's baby back? My husband and I had been trying to have a baby for years. I'm talking double-digit rounds of fertility medication, multiple doctors, several lifestyle changes and diets guided by fertility care centers, IVF, all of it. Then, in 2020, my husband's brother and his wife had a surprise pregnancy. They already had 2 children and felt their family was complete. They asked us if we would want to adopt their unplanned child. I was over the moon. Of course, we said yes. Our son arrived towards the end of 2020. Shortly after his delivery, my brother in law and his wife decided they had changed their minds and wanted to keep the baby. But they already signed away their rights as parents, meaning legally, my husband and I are now the parents. We had arranged for an open adoption. Considering our husbands are brothers, this was a no brainer, as we would all be together at family functions anyway. However, they became really angry and abusive when we refused to return our son back to them, simply because they had a change of heart. We haven't arranged a visit with them in over a year, since they will not accept the fact that this baby is no longer their son. They are mad and act like we are in the wrong for wanting to keep our legal son. I do sometimes break and send updates to the birth mother, but I do not want her to have any contact or visitation with our son until she can accept that he is not her baby. She will not let this go and has even taken to Twitter, still complaining about a choice she made. Am I the butthole? Edit. Everyone is hung up on the 2-week bit. I should clarify that it was more of a soft change rather than extreme. When they first brought it up, it was very tentative, like, "Oh, we're a little concerned because of X," or "We think he should be with his siblings." The wife even thought maybe it was just postpartum depression causing her to have doubts. That is why we refused. It steadily grew more threatening, trying to use the fact that, at the time, we did not have health insurance against us. By 6 months, it was unbearable and became full on demanding. But the time had passed. They had the entire 9 months of pregnancy to think about this. They knew how much we wanted a baby. To play with our emotions is just straight up cruel. Second edit. For those asking about my husband, he is very hurt that his brother would treat him this way. He was his best man at our wedding. Their selfishness has ruined our family forever. Thank you for my judgment. We feel greatly affirmed knowing that we are not the buttholes. Third edit. This is coming up a lot, so I would like to clarify. My mother in law is on our side and has banned brother in law and wife from family events. They have not been invited for the past year because of their behavior. Yes, they consulted with lawyers. We did as well. She signed consent the day after labor, and the adoption was finalized a few weeks after birth. She has no legal standing here. My husband and I are the only ones who can repeal the adoption. This was never meant to be a post about the law anyway. Simply just wanted to see if I was the butthole for refusing to repeal. Thank you for all your support. Fourth edit. Some of you think you have found my sister in law online. I cannot stress this enough. My sister in law's social media accounts are all locked in private. I only have access to her posts because of an alt account. As someone who has been harassed for the past year over this situation, I would not wish this upon anyone. Please do not harass someone that is in no way involved in this post. I'm not sure where I come down on this because everyone made mistakes, and it's really going to be the baby who will decide when they're older. This has destroyed this family, though. The comments were all over the place too, from calling OP a kidnapper to others saying they followed all the procedures and cooling off periods for these types of contracts. Let's cover both sides, but the first comment was buried and I found it very interesting. Determinatrix asked, "Wait, are you sending updates to the baby's mother unsolicited?" OP, "I am the baby's mother. Do you mean my son's biomom?" Determinatrix replied, "You want to answer the question? You know what? Never mind. That told me all I needed to know." Jew School said, "You are the butthole. At the end of the day, the family with two siblings lives 7 hours away. As an only child, if I found out about this situation at any point in my entire life, I would resent you." Liz Cat Hot Mess, "I don't think OP is thinking about the child's well being, only themselves." Crazy Helga said, "What a mess. This kind of takes the old don't go into business with family to a new level." Grey Wolf 74 said, "Not the butthole, but that is incredibly complicated. I would be inclined to also say they are not the butthole either. They obviously have regrets with their decision and feel they have lost a child. But for you to unadopt, especially after so many disappointments already, would be no less difficult." If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.